You thought kindness would protect you. Turns out, it's what made you easy to erase.
But one day, something inside you snapped. Not loud, just final.
I used to think being good was enough. That if I showed up, stayed loyal, stayed useful, people would stay too. But no one tells you what it does to a man. When he keeps giving, and they keep taking, until there's nothing left of him but silence. That was me. I didn't lose everything in one moment. It happened in pieces, little breaks, little hesitations, until the day I walked away and didn't know who I was anymore. But something happened after that, something I've never told anyone in full, until now, and I wouldn't have remembered it either, if Kai hadn't handed me that carved block of wood. At first, I thought it meant nothing, but then I read the words, and everything unraveled. Have you ever been erased without a single word? Not blocked, not fought, just deleted. That was me. One day, I had a business partner. The next day, my name was gone. No call, no warning, just cold, calculated silence. But here's the truth I didn't see until later. Betrayal doesn't happen in one moment. It happens in a chain. They stop looping you in. They start hiding details. They smile, while slowly cutting the rope. By the time you feel it, you're already on the ground. But I didn't scream. Not because I wasn't hurt, but because I finally understood. When someone betrays your trust, they don't deserve your voice. So I stayed quiet, not out of weakness, but out of discipline. That silence, it gave me back my breath, my focus, my dignity. That night, I didn't go home. I drove straight to Kai's place. He didn't ask what happened, didn't even look surprised. He just handed me a cup of warm tea and slid a small carved chip of wood across the table. It read, "Some doors lock inward first." I didn't understand it then, but somehow I felt lighter. And years later, when they came back asking for help, I simply said, "I don't hold anger, but I also don't hold the rope." Because silence isn't retreat, it's respect for yourself. And if you're still explaining, still justifying, ask yourself, are you trying to be heard by someone who was never listening? Let that be the day you stop bleeding words for the wrong people. Let that be the day your silence finally speaks.
Have you ever been punished for being kind? It sounds strange, until you realize the people who drained you most were the ones who praised your heart the loudest. There was a team I once backed, bright, passionate, ambitious. They had potential. They also had a pattern. They slipped on deadlines. I covered. They overpromised. I rebuilt. It didn't feel like sacrifice. It felt like loyalty. Until one night, I chose rest. Closed the laptop. Didn't answer the 3 a.m. call. By morning, they blamed me. Said I left them hanging. But here's the part they never admitted. I was never on the team. I was the lifeline, and they just assumed I'd never let go. I nearly apologized, nearly went back, until I told Kai what happened. He was polishing the edge of a chisel when he said, without looking up, "People don't just use you, they follow the script you wrote." And I froze. Because he was right. I wasn't a victim. I was a man who confused self-worth with self-erasure. That's the truth most don't want to face. It's not your kindness that breaks you. It's your fear of not being needed. I had to learn. Being a good man doesn't mean being endlessly available. So I rewrote the script, started saying no, started watching who disappeared when I stopped fixing everything. If you're listening now, still carrying people who never lift you back, ask yourself, if I stopped saving them, would they still stay? Because love built on exhaustion isn't love. It's dependence dressed as devotion. You don't owe anyone your depletion. You owe yourself your peace. That night, I muted the group chat. I didn't say goodbye, didn't explain. I just stopped being the one who always replies first. Some people drift away loudly. Others, they fade while still standing next to you. There was someone I once cared about deeply, not romantically, but the kind of care that makes you want to protect them, even from themselves. They were struggling, confused. I kept showing up, kept offering my strength, hoping they'd find their way back. But they didn't, and I kept shrinking myself just to stay close. One night I told Kai, "I'm tired, but I can't walk away, not yet." He didn't give advice. He just looked at me and said, "Maybe you're not holding them. Maybe you're holding the last time they felt like home." I sat in silence, because that was the truth I couldn't face. I wasn't fighting for who they are now. I was fighting for a memory, a version of them that no longer exists. And maybe I wasn't really trying to save them. Maybe I was trying to save the part of me that still needed to be needed. And the more I tried to carry them, the further I drifted from myself. That night, I made a quiet decision to stop chasing people who stopped choosing me. Not out of anger, but out of respect for both of us. You see, your energy is sacred. It's the light that keeps your purpose alive. And not everyone is meant to walk in that light with you. If you're listening right now, still holding on because they might need you, ask your heart, do they still lift me up? Or have I been kneeling just to keep them standing? You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to grow beyond the version of you that needed to fix everything. Let them go with grace. Let yourself rise with hope. Because protecting your energy isn't closing your heart. It's opening a door back to yourself.
There's a kind of goodbye that doesn't make a sound. No slammed door. No angry texts. Just a quiet ache. As you realize someone you love is no longer growing with you. For me, it was Alia. Not a partner. Not a friend. But someone I once called family. She helped me when I was small. Braided my hair when I cried. Slipped coins into my bag when she knew I skipped lunch. So when life crushed her, divorce, debt, exhaustion, I told myself, I owe her everything. I sent money, paid bills, introduced clients, but nothing changed, except me. Each call became a guilt ritual. Each request came with a silent threat. If you loved me, you'd say yes. I was starting to disappear in the very life I built for everyone else. One evening, I walked into Kai's shop. Didn't even take off my coat. Just said, "I can't do this anymore." He nodded, pointed to a block of wood and said, "Then carve a boundary she can't climb." That line stayed with me, because the truth is, some people don't want change. They want comfort, and your help becomes their hiding place. So I stopped, not out of coldness, but out of love, for both of us. And for the first time in years, I slept through the night. If you're watching this, still carrying someone else's chaos, still afraid to walk away, ask yourself, am I staying because I love them, or because I'm afraid of who I'll be without them? That's not a loss, that's a return. Because walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment you stop saving everyone and start saving yourself. And that first quiet step might be the beginning of your highest chapter. They didn't break you because you were weak. They broke you because you stayed. You stayed kind when they stopped being grateful. You stayed loyal when they stopped showing up. You stayed hopeful, even when it hurt. But now, something in you is changing. Not louder, not colder, just clearer. And maybe, for the first time, you're starting to see walking away isn't loss. It's the path back to yourself.
If even one of these stories felt like yours, don't keep it buried. Leave a sign, a name, a word, a moment that changed you. Because when you speak from healing, you give someone else the courage to begin. And maybe tonight, your quiet comment becomes someone else's loud turning point.
Most people don't walk away out of anger. They walk away because they're finally calm. They thought you disappeared. But silence was the sound of your rise.